Rahul Gandhi is somebody whom I love. I've loved him since, well, I suppose a long time ago, but I saw his sister first at the funeral pyre of Indira Gandhi, whom I loved. My mother loved her. I try to make fun of her, but I've written books, and when you try to write in a poetic and in a true fashion, you have to come clean. I'm not. I met her once, and I was absolutely. I will not say I was enamored with her, but she's a very decent person. And of course, Rahul Gandhi's father, Rajiv Gandhi, he is somebody who, Muslims Pakistani Muslims in London, they saw him on TV, and he wasn't speaking. He was speaking English, Oxford, the Cambridge and Doon School accent English. Unlike Nawaz Sharif, or I must admit, Nawaz Sharif, the way that he spoke, it did have a lot of impact in India, because we speak the same language essentially. But with Rajiv Gandhi, he was speaking English. He could have been speaking Tamil. He could have been speaking Malayalam. But Pakistani people, young, old, socialist, conservative. I remember, he was assassinated, and I was walking back from Holland Park. और जैसे कि ऐसे जुलूस निकला था कि that because I was the only Hindu or Indian that they knew, and down that stretch of the road, they were condoling with me. Oh, eat some food, don't cry. They're crying. I was not crying. Why? Because the man, Rajiv Gandhi, he looked like Lord Ram. He looked like such a decent person, and he was. He was a very decent person. Terrible politician. And then, you have Sonia Gandhi, and I remember my father saying to me back in 1998, he predicted, he said, look, she's a lady, Mayavati, and Mayavati was good. The IS, the Lutyens Delhi, they liked Mayavati. But Mamta will beat you with a slipper, and Uma will beat you with a slipper, and even the smartest and best in terms of speaking English, Jayalalitha, she's a tough, extremely tough. These are women who had clawed their way up. They had survived threats and rough house tactics. Anyway, the fact is that Sonia Gandhi did a superb job, and the BJP, some elements in the BJP, they tried to make an issue of the fact that she's Italian, that she's Catholic. This is mad. In Hinduism or in Islam, it is obvious that she is the Bahurani, who has come from a far place, and she will keep the seat warm for the heir to the throne. And the fact that she comes from far away and that she's of a different religion means, it's a point in her favor. So, really, truly crazy nonsense. Anyway, let's now look at why Rahul failed. Basically, he refused to step up to the plate. He refused to take the job. And he didn't bring in... And he had recruited, young, very attractive people. They all looked like Bollywood stars. And they were all superbly qualified. And I really don't understand why he didn't step up and bring in his own people. It may be that his mother said, no, sweetie, I don't want you to do it because they'll kill you. They killed my mother-in-law, they killed my husband. No. But it isn't as simple as that. I think there's something else going on. And to understand what else was going on, I think it has to do with Rahul's education. The fact that he has a MPhil in development studies from Cambridge, and but previously it attended Harvard, and so forth. Let us hear from Rahul Gandhi.
Psychologically, you have to deal with the Chinese from a position of strength. If you deal with them from a position of strength, you can work with them, you can get what you need, and it can be actually done. But if they sense weakness, then you had it. Well, the first thing is, you're not going to take on China without a vision. And
so what is Rahul saying? He is saying that China, which currently is much stronger than India overall, but which is weaker in the sectors where India confronts it. And India has always known that. In '62, Rahul's grandfather, showed the white feather. He said to the people of Assam that you're on your own. In other words, this old Harrovian was the opposite of Churchill. And of course, this young man knows this. He's grown up thinking about it. But you see, the fact of the matter is that India allowed China to take Tibet and so on and to come into this area because we have an asymmetric advantage in terms of inflicting pain on these guys. And, they've now committed a lot of money to the Belt and Road and so forth. So it's a choke point. And we want, firstly, we want strategic autonomy. But we also, if Trump remains in the White House, we do need a narrative about checking China. But we don't want to check China because it's foolish. China is going to fall apart by itself. It's just a country with a declining demographic, with a Belt and Road through which Buddhists and Muslims are going to flood in, and the Communist Party is not the Han Party. The Han, the ethnicity, simply is not homogeneous at all. For the excellent reason that the Chinese are smart, they're not stupid. Now, what is Rahul really saying? And let us hear this again. What he's saying is,
logically, you have to deal with the Chinese from a position of strength.
So, India has never been in a position of strength with respect to China. So, what Gandhi is saying is, never deal with China.
If you deal with them from a position of strength, you can work with them, you can get what you need, and
this is mad. The fact of the matter is that China, like India, has always had to concede anything that was dictated to them from a position of strength. Now, we honestly don't know if Belt and Road is going to be a very expensive failure. But we can be sure that demographic changes in China are going to, they have an aging population, and they're going to suck in Buddhists and Muslims and people who are not Han Chinese, and who, among the Buddhists in Burma and so on, these are guys who can look up a Wikipedia article and know that they have been driven out. People who speak Austronesian languages, they feel they were driven out by Han Chinese. So this is the real story here. China is in a middle-income trap, and the rest of the world is ganging up on it. So, what does Rahul Gandhi have to say?
And it can be actually done. But if they sense weakness, then you had it. Well, the first thing is, you're not going to take on China without a vision. And
so what Rahul is saying is that the Chinese scented weakness in his grandfather and destroyed Nehru's legacy as a multi-party democratic nationalist leader. This is quite true. That all the countries of Africa, the other newly independent countries, they went in for one-party states because they saw that Nehru had been beaten. And what Rahul is saying is that grandfather, it's a great-grandfather, because of dynasties, Indian dynasties, throng so thickly upon each other. Rahul is saying, vision! Vision! Why is Rahul saying this? It's because Nehru had a vision, and he got fucked. And Rahul himself has destroyed the International Congress in the same way that his great-grandfather screwed up India, at least our defensive posture. But what is the reason? Vision! Let's hear more about vision from
I don't mean a national vision. I mean an international vision.
He doesn't mean national vision.
An attempt to change the nature of the planet.
Oh, yeah.
India has to have a global vision. India now has to become an idea. And it has to become a global idea. The thing that's going to protect India is actually thinking big. Of course, we have this border issue, and we have to resolve this border issue. But we have to change our approach. We have to change how we think. This is the point at which the road parts. If we go this way, we become a major player. If we go this way, we become irrelevant. And that is why I am aggravated.
So, how stupid is this shit? Look, when Indira Gandhi, when she lost power, deservedly, what she did was she spotted an incident where vulnerable people in some backwater in a rural area where they'd been killed, and she went there. She went there straight away, and when she couldn't get any further by car or by jeep, she got onto an elephant, and then she arrived there. And the entire press followed her there, and the entire Indian public followed her there because it was obvious that the Prime Minister of the time was a senile shithead who would do nothing. this was a cabinet which had its daggers drawn against each other. So Mrs. Gandhi, she found an actual grievance in India, nothing to do with vision, no vision, no, nothing, no. She found something real, not vision, but atrocity, atyachar, something real, and she went there, sitting on the back of an elephant. But Rahul is looking at vision because what the fuck? I don't know why. Anyway, this is sad. So Indira Gandhi came back to power, but Rahul will never. He's become anti-national. Listen to this.
Because I can see that a huge opportunity is being lost. Why? Because we're not thinking long term, because we're not thinking big, and because we are disturbing our internal balance. We are fighting amongst each other. Just look at the politics. All day long, Indian is fighting Indian. And it is because there is no clear-cut vision going forward. And I know that the Prime Minister is an opponent. My responsibility is to question him. My responsibility is to ask questions and put pressure on him so he does his work. His responsibility is to give the vision. And it's not there. I can tell you, guaranteed it's not there. And that's why China's in there today.
Look, there are multiple stupidities in what Rahul has said. Because you see, Narendra Modi for 30 years has been, he was a Pravachak of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. So we know what his vision is. Everybody does. And that's why when he goes and talks to the troops and reinforces those positions, everybody knows that this is the vision and this is the practical steps which are being taken to solidify and to make that vision real. What the hell is Rahul talking about? I think the answer is that he says there must be a Nehruvian vision, Bandung Conference, a Panchsheel, something like of that sort. But this is the type of nonsense that Martha Nussbaum or Amartya Sen might endorse. Back in the 90s, mid-90s or later, it was possible to see Amartya Sen or Martha Nussbaum as important. But they are joke figures now, as is Rahul Gandhi. And I love the boy. But what do you think? This is my question to you.